Do the best you can. It may not work out perfectly. We're going to let this refrigerate overnight with plastic wrap. Okay, so it's the next day, and our white chocolate mousse is set up in the refrigerator, so we're going to go ahead and make the miroir glaze to put on top, which is basically just fruit and gelatin. So I decided to go with the passion fruit, but you can really use almost any fruit, really. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. You need to use either a pulp or a juice. If you use a pulp, make sure that you puree it down if it's not already pureed, and strain out some of the pulp, so that way it doesn't get all clumpy looking. You want a very shiny, smooth glaze. So what we need is 2 ounces of water and 3/8 of an ounce of gelatin, which is basically a package and a half. So we're gonna bloom it again. We're gonna bloom it just like we did for the white chocolate mousse. We'll let that hydrate for a few minutes. Now, if you're using a tropical fruit like kiwi or passion fruit or mango, you need to boil off the enzymes in the fruit juice. These enzymes that are present in tropical fruits prevent the gelatin from setting up. So you really need to break it down, and the only way to break it down is by boiling it, which reduces it into basically harmless proteins. It really breaks down the proteins, because also all enzymes are proteins. So we needed 7 ounces of fruit juice, and we'll bring that to the stove, and we'll go ahead and let it boil. Okay, so I boiled the passion fruit juice on the stove. I've also melted down the gelatin just like we did earlier over a low heat, very slowly stirring every once in a while until it looks like a liquid. And all you want to do is just add it directly into the passion fruit glaze. You don't want to add it when it's still really hot though. So let the passion fruit juice cool down before you add the gelatin. Stir it up real well. And then bring it over to your white chocolate mousse. Now, if you have some condensation on the surface, it's not a huge deal. Just dab it very gently with the paper towel to soak up some of the excess moisture, but a very little bit won't matter too much. So make sure that your juice glaze, miroir glaze at this point, is cool before you put it on top of your white chocolate mousse, because you don't want to put something hot and melt your mousse after you've taken the time to make it. And all you're going to do is just pour it. Right on top. And make a nice even layer. You may not need all of the glaze. In this case, I think I'm going to. I only have a little bit left anyway. And then we're just going to let this sit until it firms up. It's going to be probably a few hours. It probably won't take too long because the mousse is cold underneath, so it's being surrounded by coldness. And the glaze wasn't too hot either. So probably take a couple hours, and then we can release it. Okay, so our miroir glaze has set, so let's go ahead and bring it over to a can. And all you really need to do is just push straight down. Okay. Now, you can clean up the sides if you need to, like if you see some rough edges, just by taking a flat spatula or an offset spatula, and then just running against the side very flat, and that'll help clean it up. When you're finished with that, Let's bring it over to another cake circle. You can put something to glue it down, like buttercream, whipped cream, or nothing. You could put tape too. I mean, you could put tape too, because I mean, you're not going to be eating the cake cardboard circle underneath it. And that's pretty much it. You have, as you can see, you have your chocolate cake on the very bottom, white chocolate mousse, and our passion fruit miroir glaze. Okay, so that's the white chocolate mousse cake with the passion fruit miroir glaze. Now, remember that the miroir glaze can really be anything. Raspberry, strawberry, mango, whatever you come up with. Just remember to boil off the enzymes if it's a tropical fruit. And as you saw, it was very easy to release. But if you are having some trouble, if you find it sticking to the sides, if you don't find it releasing very well, you can take your creme brulee torch and just run it really quickly around the sides. And what that does is it ever so slightly melts the side of the cake, so that way it's actually more like a liquid, so you can slip it right off. It actually might even improve the sides a little bit too, by making them look smoother as you pull it down, kind of like if you were taking the spatula and running it down. But if you don't need to do that, you don't have to worry about it. And as you can see, it cuts very cleanly. For a really perfect slice, make sure you heat up your knife and to wipe your knife with a cloth towel in between slices, so that way you don't get any of the residue on your next cut. I just used a regular knife though. I did wipe it in between each slice. I didn't warm it up or anything like that with hot water or anything, and it still cut very cleanly. Remember, the Aubergine chef, demystifying desserts one recipe at a time.